Hello, and welcome to this timeless and collective reading. This is E-Star Tarot, and today I'm going to be asking what this collective needs to know from their spirit guides, from everyone that's on their team. Let's just see what they want to bring as a message for us today. And I started off feeling a bit nervous for some reason, which is kind of odd. I'm usually feeling pretty comfortable whenever I start these readings, so I thought that was sort of funny. So I'm wondering if someone here is a little nervous or anxious about something, so I'm just gonna kind of go from there and see what happens. That's it. Purity. Okay. Purity. So this one always makes me think of I don't know if anybody's ever watched Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, the Miyazaki film, but I always think of the toxic jungle because it talks about the mushrooms purifying things in nature, and this sort of talks about if you need to purify yourself. Sacha, I think, number 8. So I feel that you've got some abundance coming in with that number 8, but in order for that to happen, there has to be a little bit more purification for some things lingering in your auric field. There's a little bit of dark energy there still that you need to clear up. And it's not saying, because we're all perfect in and perfect at the same time, right? But that's kind of the nature of third dimension in humans, right? But I think for you to move forward with your next phase of life, you've got to examine these energies a little bit. See what's going on internally. I'm going to get one more card, I think, because I'm feeling one more here. Oh, Ahimsa, Amsa. I really hope I'm saying these right. If anybody Indian is watching this, just ignore my terrible pronunciation. But compassion. Yeah, so self-compassion is part of this. I love this one because the loon is, I don't know if you have loons where you live, but I do, and they carry their young on their back. They usually have like one. Usually it's just one. I think sometimes they have two, but they usually just have one little baby that they take care of. And with this, I'm getting the thought of like inner child. Yeah, you got to do some inner child work. That's what's going on here. You got to meet your inner child and talk to them, because you're still focused on moving forward, that you're forgetting that you need to go back and check in with them. Yeah, because not that you're skipping steps, but it's sort of like you've gotten ahead so much spiritually that you're like, okay, what's the next thing? But you also have to examine some of the things that were left wounded in the past as well. You can't ignore those. And one of those things is your inner child. I think you had a lot of hardship growing up, and your inner child got really shut down and ignored, and you learned to ignore your inner child as well. You became one of those adults as well that, not that you wanted to, but it was just the circumstances that happen. We go into a survival state, and sometimes we become a different person, right? So I think for you, it is paramount that you talk to your inner child right now, because they're the ones that are going to guide you. They're the ones that are going to tell you what you need and what will make you happiest. And when you're happy and you're in your joy, that's when your vibration achieves its highest state. Joy is like the highest state of vibration for you. So, to do that, you have to look at some dark memories, maybe some toxic things in the past. Don't be scared to do that, because you have done a lot of inner work, and you're doing so well that you're ready now to face that. And, you know, you don't have to do it alone. You can talk to someone as well that could help you. You could have someone, you know, a counselor or a friend, close friend, or if you don't even have anybody around you that could help you, like you have absolutely no one, you can talk to your guides as well to help you through that. Talk to your angels. Talk to God, talk to whatever, talk to nature as well. Nature is so helpful. Animals come in when you need them, and like even wild animals will appear to you. Birds, even insects. Insects can help you as well. Like any little, and there's all kinds of helpers all around us. We just don't notice them. Often we don't notice them, but I sense that you're kind of a special individual that can do that. So, you know, let them help you. All that has to be done is you have to just try. And you don't have to go and take a big leap. You could just take a little baby step, like your little I love this guy, so sweet. The sweet little inner child. You have a very, very tender child inside you that, gosh, just really needs a hug and just needs to be heard. And sometimes when that happens, we express the emotion outward in ourselves. Like you might have to have a big cry, and I don't just mean like a, you know, a cry where you let some tears fall. I mean a cry where you wail. You sound like a child, like, because that is your child expressing themselves outward through you. They have to. You're part of each other, so you know, don't be scared to do that. And if you feel like I can't do that in my house, or like, you know, find a place where you can, like even just drive your car out somewhere and park it and do it in your car with the windows rolled up. It sounds crazy, but like I've done it, you know, and that can be so healing. And like do it until it's done. Like even if your throat hurts after, like just do it. Get it all out of you. Because when you do, I promise you, you will feel so much better. So much better. By the way, I this is the crystal today I brought in. It's a blue tiger's eye. And I really like it because when you hold it on its side, you can, it might not come on camera, but you can really see the layers to it. And then when it just catches the light right, you can really see that. Beautiful, and it's got that perfect little makes me think of a hawk eye for some reason, like a little, like an animal eye. And we were talking about animals helping you, so you know, call on your animal guides. If there's animals that resonate with you, maybe they'll appear to you when this happens and help you. I don't know if you resonate with bears, but I also brought in the little bear totem. Bears are so strong and protective. So I really like bears. Bear medicine is good for you right now. Okay, so I think I want seed and sickle cards as well. I got 3 here stuck to me. Okay, well, we're gonna go with it. 3 cards. Okay. Chamomile. And you know, they remind, it's chamomile, but you know, it reminds me of daisies, the look of them. And you've got to bring out your, and I don't know if you know the sun card in tarot, but it's always a child on a horse. And I always think of like inner child, right? And we were talking about inner child, so I feel like this is about bringing the sunshine back into your life when you do this. And also chamomile, you know, it's a calming tea. You often drink chamomile before you go to bed to help you sleep, right? Or to help your nerves. So to me, that says drink some chamomile tea and find ways to calm your nervous system. And I think doing that practice we talked about, like letting your inner child have a big cry and talking to them and comforting them, I think that's all part of that. Yeah. Belladonna. Interesting. And the belladonna, the bird has a pair of scissors here, so I get the sense of like cutting away attachments. And we talked about that by clearing out the toxic energies, right? Yeah. And then she's got a crown here now. So this will unlock your spiritual abilities further. Like you want to go to the next step with your journey, right? But some attachments have to be cut away. If you want to take flight, you have to cut a couple strings that are attached to you, right? You know, I'm imagining a bird that's like kind of got all these strings attached to its leg and it's holding it down a bit. It's trying to fly, but then it takes the scissors and it cuts them away. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be cold and unfeeling about it. I think actually the path is through the feeling it out. And that's when you are able to cut it. Chickweed. There's that snake. Seen a lot of snakes this year. We're in the year of the snake, actually. So transformation. This is a big shedding year for you because the snake sheds its skin, right? It moves through rocks and pulls off the layer and becomes new. But I also get the sense that this is about, you know, you've grown too big for that layer. Because that's why they shed it, right? It's because they're growing and it becomes uncomfortable in that skin. So they have to push it off. And then they have a new layer because they've grown bigger. And you've grown bigger. And I mean that internally, spiritually, like your spiritual vibration has grown bigger than your body. And by body, I also mean your location, your living. It's really like you've outgrown where you live and how you live. Yeah. So I think, you know, this is part of the next step, right? This is part of that journey. I'm just going to take a quick look. I want to see if there's any messages with belladonna. I usually go with my intuition because it's usually on point, but sometimes there's little messages in there. Yeah. Belladonna is a card of inevitability and sacrifice is the first thing it says. So yeah, and last reading we talked about, you know, sometimes moving forward we can feel like we're having losses, even though it's things we've outgrown and things we don't need anymore, and that it's ultimately for our highest good. So maybe there's something about you holding back on that because you're afraid to lose the things you've held on to for so long, even if they're bad, you know? It talks about snipping threads in this. The Greek goddess of fate, who gives Atropa Belladonna its name, are snipping at the threads you've carefully put into place. Perhaps it's time to sit back and consider where things have become entangled. Remember we talked about the bird being entangled with the strings and it couldn't let it fly? Yeah. You may have to place some of your other projects aside to stop the main one from becoming completely knotted. Yeah. So what's your main goal here? Like, what do you really want to achieve here? Because if you're scattering your energy and using it, not using it as distraction, but it might be serving to distract you from that healing journey you're on. So I do that myself. Sometimes I fill up my day with too many tasks, even though there's part of me that needs to move through the day intuitively, because maybe there's something else I need to achieve that day. Yeah. Yeah, and chickweed is talking about, you know, the period is changing into spring. And good things are to come. So, and mainly a period of waiting is over. Fortune's blessings are yours. Yeah, it talks about a Japanese festival as well, about the 7 herbs. Is 7 a lucky number for you? Because that stuck out to me when I was reading it. Yeah, so I think because you've been doing this work, or maybe you're beginning this work, or maybe you're in the middle of it, but either way, I think you're making great progress, and this is really good fortune, actually. I think it talking about something coming to completion, like it's almost done, it's also talking about the year itself, because we're in October now, and the year of the snake is almost over. And I think you really made this year work for you. Like, I think you really worked with that energy of transformation. And there's just a little bit left, but you've already done so much work. Like, you've already achieved quite a lot in just one short year. And that's kind of amazing. You've really, really done good for yourself and for that inner child. You did it for them. And now you're reaping the benefit of that. You're really, really, yeah. Your inner child is thanking you for taking that time. And even if you haven't fully finished this work yet, and really the work is never finished, so just the fact that you started is already the achievement, right? You've learned how to mother yourself, or how to father yourself. Do people say that? But you've learned to parent your inner child. You've learned to be your own parent, your own loving parent to yourself. And part of that has been to cut away the negative beliefs about the past as well, because sometimes even though we've healed from it, we can still remember it a lot or hold on to that energy a bit without even realizing. And you're really doing that work. You're getting there and you're achieving it. Oh. Yeah, Wheel of Fortune. Or in this case, it's the Wheel of Flow, but it's upright with fortune. So, yeah, and Jupiter. Look how much you've accomplished. You've done it. You've done really good work. And we also got the Magician with it. It's so funny. I think those two came out together before in a reading as well. So this tells me that you've created your own fortune just by doing that work. And maybe it didn't seem like it was work, because like in our societies, we tend to think like work is like a hustle. It's not always. Like, it can be, but to me, the real work is like challenging ourselves internally, really understanding ourselves, taking time to understand ourselves. Yeah, we got 1 and then 10 for the numbers here. So it's like the whole cycle has been completed. You completed something really major. And you're becoming who you're meant to be. Yeah. Really great stuff. The Tower! Revelation. But look, I love this tarot card because look at this person who's glowing. And even though all this chaos is happening around them, they're in a bubble of protection there. And to me, that tells me that it's kind of dark because there's some bodies burning here, but like this person here is protected by their light body. They're shielding themselves. And I think and even everything that's happening in the world today, like there's a lot of chaos happening right now. And it's kind of amazing that you can be so calm and maybe you're not, maybe you're getting stressed out, but like, I think you're doing better than you think. And actually, you're going to fare better than everyone around you because you're able to shield yourself spiritually. It's kind of amazing when we can do this inner work while that outer world is in chaos. And you're going to be able to continue to do that. And that's actually going to make you, like, you're going to be the stable one while everyone is losing their minds because of everything going on. Like, you have a higher understanding of it. And you've realized that even if the outer world is in chaos, you are able to stay steady because you have this inner stability. And that is just so powerful. Like, nothing can phase you, nothing can stop you. Yeah, you went through it. The sorrow, the pain, the heartache. He's being stabbed by 3 swords and he's drowning. Double whammy, right? But this tells me you went deep. You went deep into the hurt. And that's where our inner child usually is residing. They're trying to hold space, even if you deny it. Your inner child won't. Your inner child will not hide from that. And so, ooh, there's a loud car door slam, and then even the window kind of vibrated. Yeah. Remember that when I said about outer world being chaotic, but you're stable? Even if your windows are rattling, I know that sounds odd to say, but even if like there's literal chaos outside your window, you went through a greater chaos. And because you did, you can't be shook, you can't be phased. And so now, when there is really dark chaos outside, you can handle it. And you can even like manage to be happy amongst all that, which is crazy. But, you know, when we do that, we anchor the world. We anchor the vibrations of the world as well. If you can manage to be happy, even in amongst sorrow, and there's the train, confirmation, you can actually help the earth, because we're all vibrating on a certain frequency. And when, you know, things happen in the world, it's sort of like the dark forces of the world trying to pull down the frequency of the earth, if they can pull down all these individuals, right? But that's why it's important that other individuals that can manage to keep themselves afloat do so, because it helps that earth vibration, the overall vibration, which is part of all of us, stabilize. And then that can actually help stop the chaos happening on the earth. I know it sounds, maybe that's not your belief, but like, trust that it is, because trust that you being happy, like, don't feel guilty for being happy if others are not. You have to be happy for them, because that will actually help them. And that's not how we're taught. We're taught to feel bad about it and try to, you know, like we should all be equal, the same. No, we should, if we have happiness, we should absolutely be in that happiness, because that will lift up others. It will. It's, you know, I really believe that. So, trying to pick up my angel cards, but they don't want to come out. There we go. All right. Archangels, let's see what you have to say about this. How are we keeping our vibrations high, and what can we do to keep it high? Spread your wings, exactly. So if you're holding yourself back because of any of those kinds of beliefs that we talked about, don't. Sometimes, like, I'm thinking of a flock of birds, and sometimes when a flock of birds is nervous to take off, if one person takes off, they all start taking off. It cascades. It gives others the impetus to do it. So, like, if you do that, if you spread your wings and fly, you're going to make others do it too. And that's actually the most important thing, is like inspiration to others. It can be anything you want. It's whatever that makes you happy, whatever makes your inner child happy, and that will make it be something of a higher vibration, and then that resonates with other people. It raises their vibration, and then they can fly. Yeah. One more. This is great. What was that? It? Prioritize. Again, we were talking about that with Belladonna. If there's things that are holding back your main tasks, maybe prioritize and cut down on some things. Don't fill your schedule too much. Success isn't always just busyness, right? Sometimes it's focus and how much authenticity you put into something, and how much you really resonate with what your true desires are. Yeah. Archangel Metatron, focus on your highest priorities. I will help you get organized and motivated. So call on Metatron if you need that assistance. He could help you with that. I'm also really drawn to the purpleness of this card. It's more violet, so I'm thinking violet flame, like Saint Germain. Maybe you should meditate with the violet flame. Use that as a meditation tool to help you get focused on the thing that matters most to you. And also amethyst. I'm thinking of amethyst here. Maybe meditate with an amethyst crystal if you need some insights, because they really help. Amethyst really helps your intuition. And ask your inner child what they want to do, because they will tell you as well. They will help you see what's important, because what's important to you will be what makes you feel the most joyful, right? What gives you the feeling like you're a kid again when you do it? Like you're like a kid exploring in a woods and having the greatest day, having fun. Or like when you're a kid, you're really encouraged to try everything so you can figure out what you like, right? Have that attitude again. Have that attitude of, I'm exploring the world and I'm going to just see what I like. Because maybe you have not done that for yourself. Maybe you've been so focused on tasks, accomplishment, of doing what others would perceive as accomplishment that you actually have ignored what you really want, what actually makes you, what lights you up, right? That is the way that you honor God. I don't know if you believe in God or like the divine. I think you kind of do if you're on a tarot reading, to be honest. But, you know, if someone here has religious trauma and they don't resonate with that, don't take it with you. You don't have to. The divine can just be within, because to me, they're one and the same, right? God is you and you are God. So, and that's not to be arrogant, right? You know, don't be like, I'm a God. But maybe take that energy with, you're the God of your own life, in the sense that you direct it, right? Yeah. There's a little bump on my window. Almost like a knock on my window. So I feel like that was a little confirmation there. Yeah, just view it in the sense that like you have the power over your own life. No one else has the power over your own life. Not your parents, not your siblings, not your friends, not your coworkers, not your community, not your religious community, not anything like that. It's just you. It's just you and your inner child and what they want, right? Because you're one and the same. So make sure that you know what that is, because sometimes we can convince ourselves we want things that are actually what others want, because what we want is approval. So you really got to examine that. You really got to examine, do I like this thing because it actually fills me with joy? It actually gives me, it sparks joy, as Marie Kondo would say, or is it because there's part of you that's seeking approval or love that you think will come from that from others, right? Just, it's important. Self-awareness is the greatest tool you could have. Black tourmaline, yeah, get grounded. And there's a 10 again. Tens, lots of tens. Just in all the readings lately. But to me, that's like completion, right? Completion of the cycle. You have completed a cycle, which was where you were letting those beliefs direct you, or letting others direct you, or put ideas into your head about what you wanted. And you weren't actually seeking what you wanted. But now, that's all coming to an end. Black tourmaline is guiding you. Black tourmaline is grounding you in reality. Get connected with the earth with black tourmaline, actually. Yeah, ground your feet. Really ground your feet. That's what I'm hearing. Because I always like sit on my toes a lot. Or I let my heels lift up. Because I'm holding myself a little tense sometimes. So if you do that, consciously lower your heels, because that will put you in a more relaxed state. And then your thoughts will be more relaxed, right? Oh my God, Big Spite. We got that yesterday. And look, Chickweed, 9. Big Spite, 9. This is about courage. This is about that impetus, drive, finding the drive within you. And this makes me think of fire and flames, right? So I really think that you need to stoke your inner fire. A part of finding out what you like is something that will, even no matter what it is, when you do it, it makes you feel this sense of like, this like spark in your solar plexus. It's kind of hard to describe. It's like there's like an energy that comes. It's like you could do this thing for hours and never feel tired. That's how you know. That's how you know. And it's okay if you burn out and get tired sometimes, because you could have emotional or physical burnout. I went through a period like that, and that is rough. You can feel tired even doing the things you love. And actually, if we push ourselves too hard, we get burnout, and then even the things we love don't spark a feeling in us. So if you're lacking that feeling, if you're like, oh my God, I don't feel anything when I do anything, what do I do? Is there something wrong with me? Am I broken? Not at all. You just need rest. Get whatever rest you need to relight that fire. It's like, I'm seeing a candle that's burning low, and then like the problem is there's too much oil around it, and it's actually like almost dousing the candle. And then if you pour a little of the oil out, suddenly that flame goes bigger and bigger. So if there's a sticky, oily energy of, burdens, responsibilities, too much tasks, even given by others or given by yourself, lighten the load, dump out that oil a bit, and then watch the flame grow. Yeah, that was a lot. Bixby had a lot to say. Bixby is very cool stone, actually. I like this color a lot. Because it's almost perfectly between pink and red. I guess that's magenta, but I just love that color. Pink and red are such like, delicious colors. Vibrant colors. I love them. And peach, too. I love those warm tones. Even though I'm wearing blues today, which is kind of opposite. Color, yeah, colors. So wear certain colors that might help you. If you are having a problem with a certain chakra, especially, wear that color of chakra. That could help you a lot. Yeah, so maybe do some of that. Do some of that, because that could really be helpful for you right now. Yeah, butterflies are next, I think. Because butterflies will tell us about these changes that are happening to you. Yeah, what can we change immediately that would help stoke that inner fire? I think tourmaline is kind of giving us a bit of an answer, because I think tourmaline's about the rest aspect of that and the grounding. Getting back in nature and grounding would be helpful. Retirement. Yeah, this could be literal retirement. Because maybe you're older and you want to retire and you've been thinking about that and you want to pursue some things. This is your sign to do that. If you don't stress about what's happening around you. If you need to retire, because you don't have to always carry the burden for everybody. Because I'm getting the sense of someone who wants to retire, but they're like, but all my grandkids and my children are struggling right now, and what if they need more money at some point, and if I retire, I'll give up that finance. Like, don't think like that. You scare the money away when you do that. You have that scarcity thinking, right? Don't think like scarcity. Think like abundance. Think like everything's coming to you. And actually, I think, I'm getting a message that you'll receive aid. So I don't know if that means like government aid. I think the government's going to provide more aid to retire people, potentially, is what I'm getting. I feel really nervous saying that, because I'm like, well, what if it doesn't happen? But don't think like that. Don't think like that. Whatever you need is going to be available to you, is what I'm getting from this card. And maybe it won't be everything that you necessarily want, but it'll be enough. It'll be enough that you will be happy. And that's all anybody really needs, right? But and you can have abundance with whatever comes to you, right? There's already all kinds of abundance around you. So don't think that you don't have abundance. Yeah, just Just be grateful for your abundance now, and what you need will be brought to you at the right times. That's what I'm hearing. But if you aren't retiring also, I think this also means like retiring to like rest, sleep. Let yourself rest and relax. Because if you're burning out and you're burning the candles at both ends, you're not going to achieve anything. Like, you might think that you are and you have to keep going, but you're not. If you're doing it in the wrong way, in a way that hurts your body, that is not going to help you. It's not going to help anybody, to be honest. So why do that? I think you could afford to retire a little bit. You've earned a little bit of rest. And when you rest, somehow the things get done, and they get done faster than if you were pushing for them. And it seems contradictory, but it's really not. And I'm getting with like, I'm being drawn to the crystals. So I think like perspective is important, because I think like Hawkeye with this, take a higher perspective with how your thinking has been affecting you and your mindset and what you think will happen in the future, because you don't know the future. You don't know what's going to happen. Maybe things are going to get easier, right? Maybe things are going to get way easier, way better for you. And you haven't seen it yet. But you got to believe first, right? Anything in this world is a thought before it's a reality. So, go with that. Go with your belief and your faith and your trust. Because, we all forget that we have a team beside us. They're leading us, they're guiding us, they're helping us dodge disaster at every turn. And when you know that, when you believe that, it becomes a lot easier to move in this world. And not that you should not take cautionary steps, because sometimes those thoughts about, well, I should do this, sometimes that in itself is a guidance from like an ancestor or a spirit guide or a guardian angel. Like, sometimes that's the only way they can get through to us, is to kind of bring the thought to us. If we have a reoccurring thought, often I get images, or I see something in my head. So if you see something in your head and it keeps happening, that could be a message. So don't ignore those messages. And a lot of times, and they're not fear-based. They're not like a stress, anxious thought. They're always something that's just quietly nudging at us. So just pay attention to them. Don't push them to the side. And don't push your inner child to the side either, because that could be a message from them as well. Robin, 33. Ooh, master number 33. Maybe that's something that means something to you. Spring into the presence of stillness, for there is much to rejoice in there. Retirement, yeah. Let yourself be still. Let yourself have a cup of tea and a book and a quiet afternoon. Don't take a break from your stressful thoughts. My gosh, give yourself some time to relax, because it's like when they say, sometimes it's better to sleep on your problems and overnight they'll resolve. Because sometimes our brain just needs to process. And if we don't let it process, it's not going to move forward. It's not going to resolve the issue. I know we live in a culture of do. It's a very masculine pushing energy that rules our culture. But that's not helpful to everybody, especially not to women. Try not to get too gendered, but it's part of our reality. And I think there's feminine, masculine energy that matter in this world. And masculine energy is very pushing, very do. And feminine energy receives and waits quietly and lets things happen. So I feel like you've got to lean into that feminine energy. No matter if you're a guy or a girl, it doesn't matter. It's leaning into that energy of receptivity and quiet and stillness, because that will help you. That will help you move forward faster than if you pushed hard for it and if you hustled, right? And robins too. Maybe you see robins. A robin's a sign for you, because that could help be a guide for you, because we were talking about animals being helpers, right? Maybe if you see a robin, it's going to help you. Spring hike, yeah. So this is about a lot of relaxing, right? And this is a spring deck for the season of Astera, so that's why it says spring hike, but it could mean just any hike, right? And I think like spring, like reinvigoration, so rebirth, revitalization. So maybe a hike in the woods could really help you. Maybe you'll see a robin. Horizon of possibilities welcomes the curiosity of your soul. She's got her little canister here with water, I think, or a lamp. And then she's got her book. And look, all these animal guides are around here, kind of following with her, coming with her. Sometimes our spirit guides and our ancestors come to us in the form of animals too, right? So maybe you're going to receive a message if you do that. Maybe the inspiration of what you should do will come to you there. And maybe things will resolve in a funny way. Whatever problem you're facing, I think it's going to resolve in a way you're not expecting because you just let yourself be still with it. Yeah. And if it's not a specific worldly problem, if it's the problem rather of how do I move forward? How do I process what's unfinished within me? Or this darkness within me? How do I move beyond that? Maybe just let yourself rest and be still and see what happens. I'm going to end this on Yule deck, which is funny because Yule deck can be a little bit dark, but like, I don't know, maybe we'll get a positive message out of this. Yeah, this one. Hearth. Oh, warmth. Comfort. May your warmth take in the gazing flame upon the shivers they melt. Yeah, melting the shivers. So if the shivers are like anxious and stressful thoughts, let the fire warm and heal you. And hearth, I think of like home and family too. So and we were talking about family. So if there's something about family that's stressing you out, especially with what we talked about with retirement, know that a warm home is all that anybody really needs for comfort. A warm and safe home. And that doesn't even have to mean the physical home. It's the home that comes, like the warmth that comes from love, genuine love towards each other. Yeah. And the hearth is the heart of the home. And if this is like your soul and your body as well, when we were talking about inner child, like go to the center of yourself, go to your hearth, and look, if you cover the H, it's heart, right? Look into your heart. Three of Swords. Remember, his heart's being stabbed by 3 swords, which are the past pains and sorrows that are still plaguing you. Or maybe that you're facing now, or that you have faced and conquered. Look into your heart. And we were talking about inner fire too, right? This could just be telling you as well that your inner fire is being reawakened to such an extent that, you are, you're going to be able to light up the world and light up the life for others. Like, you'll be the warmth for others as well. You're not going to have to worry. And most importantly, you're doing it for yourself. You're really lighting your inner fire. And this is the ultimate sign that is going to be successful to me. That was a really positive card. So there you go. It didn't have to be dark with Yule. Yeah, there's always light in the darkness, right? There always is. There's always like a candle. Even if it's just a small candle, that shines brighter than all the darkness around it, right? It just makes it brighter and more of a guidepost. We see it easier in the darkness too, right? And 19, that could be a 10 as well, right? Because 1 + 9 = 10. Again, completion. You've really conquered something here. You've conquered a dark mindset that made it so you could not move forward. Sorry, I'm being distracted. There's a blue jay outside that's really, I think it's a blue jay and a crow having an argument. There's family fighting. I don't know why I'm getting that, but if there's family fighting going on, you can be the stable force amongst that darkness. And that doesn't mean you have to do anything. Sometimes that, again, like we talked about, when there's chaos in the world, sometimes you just being the light and being happy changes all that, even if you're not directly affecting it, because you're affecting the vibration. Yeah, like in a home where there's chaos and toxic people, if you're the steady force, and it's not necessary that you have to interfere with anybody's arguments, you just being in your calm can change their vibrations. It does. And no matter what you believe, it really works. You can be the force that is steady and stable. And when they're done fighting and they've processed their tears, they can come sit beside you and suddenly things are resolved, right? Things are better. Because they're around you and you're steady and you're stable. You're warm. Just bring them, if you have family members that can be a little bit toxic and it's a situation where you can't fix their problems for them because they're their problem, just love them anyway. Always just love them anyway, because they will ultimately, like, their choices are their own, but you'll know that you at least had the offering of warmth. And that doesn't mean burning yourself to keep others warm, right? Don't burn yourself to keep others warm. Light a fire for yourself and you inspire others. You know, when you're having a bad attitude, say if you're grumpy, I have grumpy days, but if I suddenly am around someone who has a really bright attitude and positive and warm attitude, suddenly I find myself changing. Suddenly I'm not so argumentative or angry or ungrateful. So, and I just had some air in my throat, so, you know, that could mean just speaking your truth gently and calmly. And being firm and stable, standing your ground. Because you've purified toxicity. It's going to inspire others too as well. So just be quietly inspiring. Yeah, and that will do more than if you tried to do something to interfere and physically make it better, right? That's it. Yeah, that's the message. Good job with your inner healing. Good job with your inner child work. Keep doing it. Keep working on it, because that helps others more than anything else. If your focus is other people and you're doing that more than you're focusing on yourself, focus on yourself with the attitude of, well, if I help myself, I help others, right? So do what's best for you. And take care of yourself and love yourself, and others around you will be loved as well. All right. I hope that message was helpful. Thank you for staying to the end. If you like the channel, you like these readings, you can subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, whatever resonates with you. And I look forward to hearing from you again. All right. Take care.